The regular season of Season 4 comes to a close in today's episode, and I am pleased to announce that we are, in fact, guaranteed our first taste of postseason action here as we have locked up the number 10 seed. We are quite a few games back from the 9th seed, and we are also a few games ahead of the 11th seed, so ultimately it wasn't even close really down the stretch of this season. I think a win here on April 1st against the Lakers really kind of sold the Lakers' fate of not being a playoff team this year. Now, who we're facing, I streamed our last episode and I said it was going to be the Houston Rockets. It actually could be the Timberwolves. I'm not sure what the tiebreakers are and stuff, but the Timberwolves and the Rockets, if Minnesota loses and Houston wins, they'd have a tied record. So it's either Houston or Minnesota. For content's sake, I kind of hope it's Minnesota because I think this is just a better team, and I think I'd rather go up against Ant in a must-win game than a guy like Jaylen Brown being their best player, mostly just because Şengün is injured. So I feel like it'd almost be a foregone conclusion that we'd beat Houston. You never know in one game, of course, in basketball. But I feel like Minnesota would be a tougher challenge. But we'll see what happens here. If we beat Houston here, it's not really going to matter at all. And Houston did win, so I guess we'll have to see what happens. What happens with the tiebreaker? Of course, Minnesota would also have to lose, which isn't a guaranteed. Your MVP for the season, the 2029 NBA season. Geez, we are already pretty deep here. Victor Wembanyama, 28, 12, 4, and 5 stocks. Absolute menace of a man. And spoiler alert, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't even need to see the award to know that he's going to do that. Just looking at his stats, I know he's going to do it. Carson O'Brien of the Kansas City Reign wins Rookie of the Year. It was not a particularly impressive year for the rookies. Not saying that Carson O'Brien was bad at all, but he wasn't even a starter for half the year for Kansas City. So to win the Rookie of the Year, good on him. I think he's going to be great in the future. But this typically isn't Rookie of the Year. This is all rookie first team for sure, but this was the weakest rookie class we've seen. I think the draft class has a lot of potential to be good down the line, though. Asa Newell is your sixth man of the year. That did change. So with 5 games left, I was looking at who was favored to win it, and the guy that was favored to win it was A.J. Johnson, who was scoring 17 points a game. So that changed in the last couple of games down the stretch of the season. Wemby, of course, Defensive Player of the Year. Most improved, Isaac Mobley on the Kings. They had a drastic overhaul in the offseason, and Isaac Mobley went up about 7 points per game over what he was last year. Clutch player, another reason I'm hoping to face Minnesota, and 36 points a game, and he's your clutch player of the year. Coach of the Year is Jason Kidd for the 67-win Dallas Mavericks, and Coach of the Year and Executive of the Year are almost always from the same team in this game. Taking a look at All-NBA first team. This is typically just what your MVP rankings ended up being. So, again, this is something that we were checking on with 5 games left, and a guy like Zion, who barely makes All-NBA second team here, or at least he's in the final spot. I don't know if that means he was literally the 10th ranked in voting. I don't know how they order these things, but Stephen Delk was insane this year. 26 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 stocks, 55% from the field, 47% from deep. People are going nuts from 3 this year. Cade Cunningham, 35 points per game, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Luka, 31, 7, and 8. And 36, 5, and 5. Second team, Jokic, 29, 11, and 6. You have Giannis, 28, 12, and 5 with 3.5 stocks. Banchero dropping 31 and 9 with 4.5 rebounds. SGA, 28, 3, and 7. And Zion, 28, 8, and 6. Shooting 62% from the field. Third team, you got Ja Morant, who was traded to Milwaukee. 32 points per game from him. We have Ken Nixon, our first All-NBA appearance comes via Ken Nixon, 28 points, 6 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2 stocks a game, 54% from the field, 41% from deep, 90% from the three-point line. We got a Official second straight year of 50, 40, 90 from him and making the All-NBA team. Lewis Miller, 30 points per game for the New Orleans Pelicans. Jeez. Alperen Şengün, 21, 10, and 5. And then Will Burke. So both of the superstar duo of the Las Vegas Venom make third team All-NBA together, yet we still couldn't get higher than the 10th seed in the West. That's just how crazy the West is in this game. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 2.5 stocks. Kind of like last year, I'm a little bit surprised that these numbers weren't higher. They didn't even go up that much from his rookie season. And based on like when we watch, he almost always has 4 or 5 or 6 stocks. He just doesn't have that many in simulation, I guess, for Will Burke. Defensive teams are here. Got Kaman Malawach up in that first team. Frederick Rodman of the Utah Jazz. Nice seeing him. We got O'Brien's, Havu, D. Ewing, McDaniels, and our own Greg Weber on first team. Second team, you have Jonathan Outlaw. Surprised he didn't make first team. Anders Eklund, Meyer, Hudson, and Chuck Berry. Our opponent will be the Houston Rockets after all. Let's go ahead and preview what team we are going to be facing up against this year. Ooh, Şengün got healthy. Nice. Okay. Never mind. I'm totally fine to play the Rockets then. He was injured. Must have been a pretty insignificant injury, though. They will be without Sasser, though, so they'll have one bench guard that they won't be playing, although it looks like he is actually their starting point guard. This team needs a new point guard. But Jaylen Brown is tied for their best player alongside Alperen Şengün. They got sharpshooter Isaiah Joe off the bench. They have Dale Theus, who was a Jimmy Butler comp coming out of the draft. I remember that. He's a good defender, solid scorer. Dalton Connect, sharpshooter at the small forward spot as well. Jabari Smith Jr., nice, all well-rounded power forward here. They have MPJ, former Las Vegas Venom player. And then, of course, Şengün at center with Kessler Edwards as their main backup. This duo will be tough to handle for sure. Apart from that, I think we can really hang with these guys. It's honestly, I think, going to come down to what kinds of games we can get from our supporting cast. Nixon and Burke are pretty consistently good, and I don't see like really tough defensive matchups for either of them. I mean, Nixon should eat. Ideally, you'd probably be putting Jaylen Brown on him defensively, and in fact, I might do that. If you don't know my channel in previous rebuilds, oftentimes what I'll do in the postseason is I will start to do custom lineups. I did it for the Spurs in the regular season because I wanted to get Burke matched up more with Wemby. But in the postseason, I'll usually create more custom lineups, and I'll also do the guarding certain players certain ways. So, for example, we'd have a Rockets lineup. Probably not going to do much with minutes here, if I'm being honest. But we could be doing some custom things to guard some of these Rockets players. For example, for Jaylen Brown, I don't want the rookie guarding him. It was either Ken Nixon or Ryan Dunn. But with Ryan Dunn having that defensive specialty, that is pretty much what we have him on the team for. So he's going to be guarded by Ryan Dunn for this play-in game. And we're going to keep the off-ball pressure tight. We're going to make sure he's not getting wide-open three-point shots in this game. And the thing is, if I do it for us guarding the other team, I usually end up doing it for the other team guarding us as well. It's only fair in a CPU versus CPU format. If I'm going to create custom lineups for us to better match up against the other team, I've got to let the other team do it to us as well. Since this is a play-in game, I'm going to go pretty light here. I'm not going to do anything custom in terms of lineups, but they are going to have Jaylen Brown trying to guard Ken Nixon here, and much like we have for Jaylen Brown's side, they are going to go tight on the off-ball pressure, trying to make sure Ken Nixon doesn't get any easy buckets here. That is going to be the goal here. Not going to do a ton again for the play-in games here, but as you know, we get further and further into these series, especially, you know, full playoff series when you have 7 games and you can react game to game based on what you're seeing, then you can start to get more in-depth here in terms of the strategy. But for a single game thing, we're just going to try to make sure that the best perimeter player on either team is getting guarded by somebody that is actually up to the challenge. I think that's going to make for a better game here against the Houston Rockets. And with the prep being done, I think it's time to hop in and see what we can do in the play-in tournament. What can the Venom do with their season on the line here in these play-in games? Of course, we're only guaranteed one. First half to beat the Rockets, and if we do, we'll face off against the winner of the the loser of the 7-8 play-in game. Going to be on the road for this one, of course, being the 10 seed, and inside the pick and roll to get things started for the Houston Rockets. Nixon over the top finds Burke for the dunk. And when you have a short point guard like that, you can pretty much just throw it right over his head to find the big man inside. Brown baseline finds Alperen Şengün, who puts it up and in with the left hand. Walker inside, throws it out to Ryan Dunn, wide open. He can't hit it, but Will Burke gets the rebound, and rather than throw it back up in himself, he gets his teammate involved in Jarris Walker as the pick and roll was wide open there for Şengün inside. Dunn trying to go inside on Dalton Connects. Not really his specialty as he gets blocked. Brown going against Nixon, and some veteran moves there with the pump fakes to find the open window. Stolen by Jarris Walker. Vegas going the other way. Dunn with it. And the double team comes. Not sure why you double team Ryan Dunn, and it leaves Greg Weber open for 3. Connect inside, got through the Venom defense. 10-9 early here in this one. Webb going back out to Ken Nixon, but the throw wasn't very good, and Houston will get to the free throw line in transition. Pick and pop. Jalen Williams gets his scoring going. The catch and shoot 3. That's most of where he gets his points. As top of the key, Dalton Connect gets a 3-pointer to go. Inside, Jarris Walker, good feed by Williams to find him for the layup. Spinning is Nixon, and he scores it over the upstretched arms of Dalton Connect. Baseline, Jaylen Brown, double comes. Houston, good ball movement off of it. It's no good on the 3-point attempts, but playing cleanup is Şengün. DHO, top of the key, Jarris Walker going right at Jabari Smith Jr., and Smith with the block. The other way, Şengün, and 1 for the Rockets. Jaylen Brown uses the screen to his advantage. Getting open on the drive. This time he finds the open man off the post. It's Dale Theus for the triple. Houston starting to build a bit of a lead here as our offense has really ground to a halt. Paris Webb breaks the seal off the basket with a dunk there. As Şengün responds with one of his own. Isolation. Simons against Isaiah Joe. Blocked away by Isaiah, but Anthony gets the steal right back. Couldn't do anything with it though, as Jabari Smith with the shooter's touch on the floater. Nixon with a powerful move inside for the two-handed slam. Haven't seen him score a bunch here. Houston playing some good defense on him. First quarter winding down here. Nixon from 3 rattles out, so just 21 points put up in the first quarter by the Venom. The defense from Houston really locking us down as Connect will get things going to start the second quarter, building a double-digit lead for the Rockets here. Backing down, Bowl is Will Burke for his first second quarter basket. Back to him now in the post. This time the fader banks its way home. Definitely looks like Vegas is trying to get Will Burke going in the post. This time the double comes. He finds the wide open man. It's Paris Webb for the catch and shoot triple. Connect out to Isaiah. Good look from three. No good for Isaiah. Paris Webb taking it up the court, finds Will Burke, who throws it down right in the face of Bull. Down to a 2-point difference here. Burke finds the wide open man again. It's Paris Webb, his second triple of the quarter. And just like that, Vegas has taken the lead. Their defense has really slowed down this Houston offense. Just allowed them to come back in this game. Simons gets to the basket there. Tough shot. Michael Porter Jr. with it now. Former Venom. One of our top draft picks from the expansion draft. Gets a mid-range shot to go as Jarris Walker takes some screens and pulls up in the mid-range for a basket himself. The Michael Porter Jr. replacement for this Venom team is Theus. It's another three. MPJ going right at Jarris Walker. But Jarris with some nice defense will force the miss. Las Vegas going the other way. Burke running the courts. Feeding the big man is Jarris Walker. We got a tight one here. Nixon checked back into the game and instantly puts in a three ball. Şengün in the post has a good mismatch, so the double comes and Şengün finds the open man. Vegas pushing it ahead to Will Burke right on the other ends, and he scores it over Şengün. Walker in the corner finds Nixon, catch and shoot triple. Another one down for Frozone Nixon. Done. 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Finds Jarris Walker, top of the key. The three ball falls 50-41 now. One more shot left in this first half. Jaylen Brown, no good, and that's going to take us to the halftime break. Venom had a 9-point deficit to start the quarter, end the quarter with a 9-point lead. Looks like Minnesota will be the team that's the winner of this game. Will face off for the 8th and final seed for this play-in tournament here. Held Jaylen Brown to 2 of 8 shooting in the first half. That's pretty dang good. Not a ton of Rockets were shooting well. Şengün kind of the lone exception here. Leading us was Will Burke with 14 and 9. Nixon double figures. Simons really struggled. Dunn struggled from the field, but other than that, solid performance in the first half. We have that lead. Trying to build on it here. Jaylen Brown too strong off the dribble from 3. Weber, catch and shoot. Too strong himself, but Will Burke running the court again. Love to see the effort from the big man. No good on a catch and shoot triple from Ryan Dunn. Going the other way is Houston. Jaylen Brown with a big time slam. Able to get around Ryan Dunn there for the easy 2. Burke in the post. He's got Şengün on him. The drop step gets him an easy layup. 3 seconds left on the shot clock for Jaylen Brown, and tough shot won't fall for him. Jarris Walker going the other way and slams it in the face of Jabari Smith Jr. The lead is growing for Las Vegas here. Will Burke nearly got it stolen away, but instead gets the ball back right at the rim for another inside shot. Setting him up now in the post. Double comes Jarvis Walker. Good look from 3. And all of a sudden, a 20-point Las Vegas lead. The defense continues to be stifling here into the third quarter, but Jaylen Brown this time was able to get around Ryan Dunn. Will Burke switches to the left hand to find the open window inside. Pick and roll. Şengün on the short roll. Easy basket. Top of the key, swinging it out to Dalton Connects, who connects on the 3 ball. Finley with the shot clock winding down, but he finds the man inside, Will Burke. Another slam. He continues his strong performance here into the third quarter. But some poor defense there, trying to go for the steal. Left Jabari Smith wide open. Ooh, Nixon falling for the pump fake. Leaving Jaylen Brown an easy lane to the basket. Burke, drop step. This time works even better than the last one. Working on a 30-point performance is Will Burke here. Falling for the Şengün pump. Walker, he's going to run some pick and pop with Will Burke. He's wide open in the corner. The baseline midi is good. Jaylen Brown will take the Şengün screen, hands it to him in the pick and roll. Will Burke unable to get the deflection there, which is what he was going for. Theus has had a couple of threes in the game, make that 3 now. As Houston has tried to come back a little bit here to end off the third. They were down by 20. They had it at 13 before that Jarvis Walker slam. Third quarter coming to a close. Bol will get to the line. Fouled by Will Burke as well. The pick and roll defense has been a problem for us at times kind of throughout this season. Burke to get the fourth quarter started. Gets blocked by Şengün. Now he throws it away in transition. Ooh, behind the back. A fancy feed from Şengün makes it a 10-point ball game. Not the way the Venom wanted to start this fourth quarter. Will Burke off the rebound, passes it up the court, and eventually it finds Anthony Simons wide open in the corner. Burke, he blows by Alperen Şengün, showing off some handles to get to the rim. Has been one of the better shooters on the night for the Rockets. Continues that here into the fourth. Simons has space from the mid-range, and we've got ourselves a 12-point ball game here, 8 minutes left. MPJ wide open. Off the double from the post. I feel like there are some people you definitely want to double in the post, but there are some people that you don't ever need to double. It doesn't matter who's on them. And they double them anyway. With a nice flush from Jarvis Walker. But unfortunately, he allows one right back with Jabari Smith Jr. We've got ourselves a 5-point ball game. Setting up a good look for Ken Nixon as he drills it. Extending the lead to 8 here. Done up top. Oh my goodness, Jarvis Walker goes up top in traffic and slams it home. That was a perfectly placed pass as well on the alley-oop. Done. From 3, good look. Extending the lead back up to 10 points. Weber with it. He finds Ken Nixon inside, and the layup is up and in. 3 minutes remain here in the game. Houston needs to get something to go, and a tough basket by Jaylen Brown. The defense from Ryan Dunn was good. Pick and pop. Will Burke stripes one home from deep. That gets the Venom over 100 points in the game, and the pick and roll once again works out for Houston. If they did that more often, they'd have themselves, I think, more points on the board. But the Venoms just will not be stopped on offense down the stretch. Houston unable to do really enough down the stretch of this ball game. How about one more up top for Jarvis Walker with a minute left? That's pretty much going to wrap up this play-in game. 107-92 will be your final as the Vegas Venom keep their season alive. And the Houston Rockets season is officially done. We got a great game from Will Burke. We'll take a look in a minute at the stats. I'm pretty sure he will be our player of the game. Houston fans not happy about this loss. It is indeed Will Burke who had a lot of dunks in this game. He had some great defense at times throughout this game, although as you'll see here, he didn't actually end up getting a bunch of stocks. We'll go through the Rockets first. 15 assists from Jaylen Brown. That is not something I feel like you often see. Jabari Smith and Alperen Sengun both shot really well from the field in this game. Maybe should have ran it through them more, and I think that goes to the pick and roll working really well for Houston in this game. But 39, 18, and 5 for Will Burke in this game. His second leading scorer was actually Jarvis Walker with 23, 6, and 4 with 3 steals. 19 points on 50% from the field for Ken Nixon in this game. Paris Webb had double figures, but Will Burke, the one to lead us in this victory. We have moved on, and the team that we will be facing for the number 8 seed in the Western Conference Finals, not the finals, the Western Conference playoffs, this year, will be the Minnesota Timberwolves. And for this matchup, I think I'm going to do something very similar, just a simple adjustment. I'm going to have Jaden McDaniels be the one that's assigned to guard Nixon. I think they wouldn't have Rob Dillingham, who's generously listed at 6'3" in this game. I don't think they'd have him guarding Ken Nixon as the primary defender, and I'm going to have Ryan Dunn be the primary defender for Ant in this game. With a spot for the playoffs on the line, let's see what this Venom team can do going up against Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Side note here as we start this game, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like 2K did Ant dirty with his face scan. At least in this game. I can't remember what his face scan has been in previous games, but just his face does not quite look right in 2K this year. Stolen away by Nixon, going full court showtime with the dunk. The Venom start off with a hot 7-0 lead and blocked away by Will Burke on the Rob Dillingham drive. Isolation, and going to go at the rookie here, Greg Weber, but some good defense. He's forced to find Rob Dillingham, who drills the mid-range jumper. Pick and pop. Ken Nixon, Will Burke. Nixon almost took it himself, but instead finds the big man for 3. And good look from beyond the arc. He drills it. It's going to lead to a Venom timeout. Ken Nixon winding inside, has a couple of men on him, so he decides to pass it out. Good ball movement by the Venom, and the open man was Anthony Simons. Good look again for Ant, nearly the same spot, same result. Top of the key, pick and pop. Ken Nixon to the rim. Probably thought he got fouled there as well, but drilled the layup. Ant backing down Anthony Simons. That is not a matchup the Venom are going to be excited about. Ant, top of the key, gets his 3rd triple of the quarter to go down. As you can see, he's averaging 39 points per game for Minnesota at home this season. Absolutely nutty numbers. In transition, push ahead to Jarvis Walker. It's blocked by Naz Reid. Going the other way. And Naz Reid with the two-way sequence, giving Minnesota the 17-15 lead after Las Vegas got out to that hot start. A miss from Paris Webb leads to a transition opportunity for the Timberwolves, and Porzingis was rewarded for running the court. Here's another transition for Minnesota. And once again, it's Porzingis finding his way open inside. Paris Webb at 6'6" doesn't really have much of a chance at contesting Kristaps Porzingis there. Scottie Pippen Jr. to the basket. And Minnesota has gone on a bit of a run here, but a good cut from Jalen Williams. Gets the Venom back up on the board. Stolen away by Webb. Now back to him in transition, and he gets fouled by Scottie Pippen. Earning himself a pair of free throws here, and that would be it for a pretty low-scoring first quarter here. Into the second now, though. Finley finds Will Burke, and a strong finish through contact by Will Burke. It's him a three-point play opportunity. Simons, shot clock winding down, finds a cutting Will Burke, and a two-handed slam right in the face of Rocco Zakarsky. Timberwolves have a pretty tall center rotation, so we'll see how Will Burke handles that throughout this game, but so far so good on that front for sure. Venom holding a 6-point lead. Get a pull-up jumper from Anthony Simons to extend it. On the wing, Dillingham, he's going to blow by Jack Finley, getting to the basket and getting fouled by Finley in the process. Finley inside, finds Burke, nearly stolen away by Zakarsky, but Burke gets another basket to go. He has been crucially good for the Venom here in the play-in tournament so far. This time using the footwork to find an open space inside. Simons back inside to Burke, but this time it's blocked away by Zakarsky. And into the game here, and good defense by Weber. Burke throws it away in transition. Just not a good look there at all, but he redeems himself with the block of Rob Dillingham. Getting back on defense. Simons, the other way, slams it all over Rob Dillingham. That's a rough two-way sequence, getting stuffed by Burke into getting jammed on. Found himself going up against Will Burke in the post there too. Anthony Edwards isolating against Ryan Dunn, and Dunn shut him down for the block. Top of the key inside. Simons finds Will Burke for the basket, and now the Venom are starting to build themselves a nice lead. 18 points here with 4 minutes left. It's been the shut down defense. We just passed the 4-minute mark in the second quarter. The defense has allowed 3 points in the quarter. 3 in 8 minutes. And as you can see, Ryan Dunn is doing some great work on Anthony Edwards, but he finds Scottie Pippen. Weber, gets by Anthony Edwards in isolation. Not a great matchup for us, but it works out for Weber that time. Now some shots are starting to fall for the Timberwolves, but still it's given us an opportunity to really start to build a lead here. Edwards from the wing, and flying in for the offensive rebound was Kristaps. Trying to set up Burke in the post. That drop step works really well for Will Burke. Works again for him there. Kristaps blocked by Burke, but can't quite keep it in bounds. So Minnesota will get another chance here. Levine missing off the inbound. Rebound goes to Ryan Dunn. Will Burke has it now, and he gets it to go around Naz Reid. Will Burke has looked fantastic here in this first quarter. I mean, he was really good in the first play-in game. He's been even better in the first half of this one. Porzingis all alone, though, from the mid-range. And that gets the Timberwolves up to 36 points in the first half. Nixon finds an angle to score around McDaniels inside, but it'll be 60-36 heading into the halftime break. We held Minnesota to 13 second quarter points, and like I said, through 8 minutes, it had been 3 points scored in the quarter absolute lockdown defense. The Timberwolves have only one player in double figures at the half. It's Ant, no surprise there. But we held him to 4 of 12. Ryan Dunn did some really nice work on him defensively. 26, 7, and 3 with 3 blocks and a steal at the half for Will Burke. The other Venom in double figures is surprisingly Greg Weber. Let's get into the second half, though. Walker pushing the ball up here in transition, finding the big man, Will Burke, who picks things up right where he left them off in the first half. Good shot there from Ant, who really needs to put the team on his back, but I don't know really how much of a chance Minnesota has based on just what I saw from that second quarter. Will Burke in a tough spot here, and it's blocked away by Porzingis. Kind of went up with the wrong hand there. Off the inbound. The feed is to Ken Nixon, who the crossover gets him wide open. Great dribble move from him. And in transition, a baseline jumper goes for Ant. Starting off the third quarter pretty well here. And oh my goodness, what a rejection from Will Burke. He wanted nothing to do with that Rob Dillingham layup. It's a couple times he's gotten him handily in this game. Paris Webb stolen away, trying to find Will Burke on the pick and roll. McDaniels finds Naz Reid inside, but is blocked by Will Burke again. Good layup on the move there from Ant. 66-43 is the score. Fade away from Will Burke falls. He's missed a few shots to start this third quarter, but of course still doing his thing as Kristaps gets to the catch and shoot jumper to go. Ant continues to have the good touch from beyond the arc here in this game, particularly here in the third quarter, as Burke just plays bully ball inside. Pick and roll. And blocked once more by Will Burke. He is piling them up in this game. Kristaps gets his revenge on the other end, though. Blocking Will Burke. And inside for Kristaps, but Will Burke gets another one. Oh my goodness, could we see double-digit blocks from Will Burke in this game? It's starting to look possible, because they just keep trying to challenge him inside with Kristaps, who really hasn't been able to get around him at all. Look ahead to Paris Webb. Pick and roll, Zakarski and Anthony Edwards. Good defense from Jalen Williams, who gets the ball on the other end. Rewarding the big man for running the court is always a good idea. As a smooth step back from Anthony Edwards makes it 54-74. Tough look from 3 from Anthony. No good. The rebound goes to Zakarski. Scottie Pippen behind the back, and a tough lefty finish with Nixon playing good defense. Ant gonna go right at the rookie here. Step back is good. He has gotten himself hot here in the third quarter. He's got another look here with 8 seconds left. That one's not gonna go, so Jalen Williams will take the final shot. I mean, we praised our defense for only allowing 13 points in the second quarter. Our offense only scored 14 points in the third. So Minnesota's defense trying to keep them in this ball game heading into the fourth quarter. We got to see some better production here from the offense in the fourth. Good dribble moves by Rob Dillingham, free him up at the lane. Finley was the one in coverage there. Levine going at Ryan Dunn, and that's blocked away. Ryan Dunn has been awesome defensively in this game, and it's going to lead to a Will Burke layup on the other end. It's worth noting that our offenses look better in this game, despite the fact that he gets blocked there. When it's been run through Will Burke, when we're going through Ken Nixon, it hasn't quite been as good. That's, of course, not usually the case, but just something to note as to maybe why we struggled a bit more in the third quarter, as well as a little bit less in Will Burke's hands, although he certainly got some attempts up himself, don't get me wrong. Stolen away by Ryan Dunn. Look ahead to Jack Finley, fouled by Zach LaVine. He gets a pair of free throws. The lead is 18 here with 9 minutes left. Jack Finley with the block. Great defense there against LaVine. He's struggled a little bit more trying to guard Rob Dillingham, though, and the defense is actually pretty dang solid there, but Dillingham gets the layup to go anyway. Cutting is Paris Webb, and Simons found it. Three-point play opportunity coming up, and now Anthony Simons. You always know he's good for a poster, and there he finds it in this game as Edwards gets another jumper to fall. He's up to 30 points on the night. This deficit is not on Anthony Edwards by any means. Naz Reid left wide open from 3. That's just too easy for Minnesota here. We're halfway through the fourth quarter now. The deficit is 18. Blocked by Jaden McDaniels, who's also done a really nice job defensively against Nixon in this game. He's kept him a little bit quiet. Nixon finds Burke on the baseline. 38 points for Will Burke in this game. He's also been very impressive defensively, and he picks up another block there against Kristaps. I don't even know why Minnesota's still trying to go at him. It's just not working in this game. From the corner, Ken Nixon, good, tough finish at the rack. Under 4 minutes left, no good from Kristaps. Nixon with it the other way. He's got a smaller man on him, but finds the open man. Ryan Dunn cutting to the basket here. That makes it a 20-point game, and that will all about do it. The Las Vegas Venom from the 10th seed to officially a playoff berth, the first in franchise history. Honestly, they kind of took care of business. Neither of these games ultimately were close. The defense was fantastic in the play-in tournament, holding our opponents to 92 and 87 points. Our offense wasn't nearly as good, and I think part of that is due to the fact that I was putting really good defenders on Ken Nixon. And so when Ken Nixon can't drop 30, it makes it tougher for our offense for sure. But that's when Will Burke stepped up. He's the player of the game in both of these games. Very well deserved. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score now for both of these teams. Anthony Edwards, 31 points, but took 33 shots to do it. I mean, other than Naz Reid, 5 of 6, we really did a good job holding this team back. 40 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 8 blocks in this game from Will Burke. Nobody else topped 16 points. So Minnesota did a good job keeping Ken Nixon quiet, 7-18 from the field for him, but Will Burke carries the team into the postseason. So there you have it. We earned a playoff spot. We are in the playoffs for the first time in franchise history in our 4th season as a franchise. Unfortunately, our reward is a matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. We watched a game against them a couple episodes ago, and they totally destroyed us. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup to try to game plan for. If you have any ideas on strategies we should employ heading into our first ever playoff matchup that could maybe try and give us an edge over what is easily the best team in basketball so far this year, I'd love to hear it. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Season 4 lives on. We'll be back soon with the next episode, and I'll see you then. Fangs out.